Hello and thank you so much for staying tuned to Champions TV. This is Nature Talk and I am your host, Grace Achieng. Now, nature is very important as far as human survival is concerned. This is because nature provides us with variety of goods and services which help us to survive on this earth. And this is why our guest in studio today is a transformational speaker, Mr. Ezekiel Odongo, who is going to inspire us more about nature. And he is also going to tell us about the life lessons that we can get from nature. So once again, welcome so much, Mr. Odongo. And just to begin with, give us a clear explanation of the goodness of nature.
Wow, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on nature. First and foremost, nature reminds us of the wonders of God. When we see nature, we know that God exists. Generally, the way the nature is organized reminds you that there is someone behind this orchestration. Second to that, nature is beauty. The truth is that, for example, our country, Kenya, the highest source of revenue, the greatest source of revenue is tourism. People travel from all corners of the world to come and see nature in Kenya. And we get money out of that. Beauty. Check the estates we have in Nairobi, the high-end estates. If you go there, one of the things that they value most is trees. Trees and flowers are everywhere. That is nature. On top of that, nature is uncommon, is a very powerful teacher. There are so many things we learn from nature. People have built houses where they drove inspiration from nature. People constructed aircrafts and they drove inspiration from nature. So nature is a very wonderful teacher. And
before you even continue, you have said that indeed we get a lot of income, and actually it's the leading source of revenue to our government from nature. Can you just mention some of the few examples of maybe the parks, the reserves that tourists come and visit that generate this source of income to the government?
Now, take an example of Amboseli. Right now, Amboseli is flocked because of the season we are right now. People travel from various corners of the world to come and see lions. Something that we only see probably on TV and on YouTube, on internet. You come and see them physically. People come to see giraffe. People come to see hyena. Take places like the game reserve, Masai Mara, is booming in business because of, exposing people to the nature. Savo East and Savo West, and all kinds of things. The other day I was in Mombasa, and it is quite amazing to see people coming to see water, and water is everywhere, but to coming to see water in large scale, that is the sea, that is the ocean, and all kinds of things around, people basking on the sun, people rolling on the sun, and this is nature. No human being can really make such a thing. That is just nature. Yes.
And you have said that nature is like a teacher to us. So what are some of the life lessons we get from nature?
A lot. There are so many things you can learn from nature. Take an example now. There is this thing that inspires me a lot. In the animal kingdom, we have the lion as the king of the animal kingdom. The lion is respected so much because of its features, the bravery, the energy, and all kinds of things. And on the other hand, tortoise is considered a reproach in the animals kingdom because it is considered slow and unattractive. But we forget that the tortoise is walking with his house, so that when the eater comes, he does not need to run. He just enters the house and closes the door, and it appears like a stone, so you can't eat stone. So one thing we need to know is that each and every person has strengths. But sometimes we look at other people's strength and we see our weaknesses in them. we focus on our weaknesses and forget that we also have strengths in various aspects of our lives. Each and every person has a strength in a way. And in most cases, you can admire someone's strength and not knowing that their weaknesses are your strength. And that is something that you can learn. Now, take another example from, I lived in the village. I was brought up in the village. Actually, the first time I came to Nairobi was when I joined campus. But now in the village, when you see chicken, how chicken operate, when a chicken identifies danger around, when the chicken realizes that there's danger around, they produce some sound to alert other chicken that there is danger around so that they can take position. Now that tells us the love, that uncommon love that chicken have for one another, that they need to share safety with one another. Whenever there's a problem, they share, tell us, please wait, there's a problem, can you take position? But most of human beings, most of the people around, people are very selfish by nature. They identify there's a problem, they only escape by themselves, but they don't tell someone this place is a problem. Are you getting that? Some people don't want to share their experiences to warn others. But these are some few lessons that you can learn from the animal kingdom. I've written a book, by the way, which I titled Carcass for Eagles. And my inspiration is driven from the features of the eagle. Eagle is the king in the bird's kingdom, while the opposite, the reproach, is the vultures. Eagles don't go around scavenging and taking every rotten meat anywhere. Eagles kill their prey and they eat them fresh, while the vultures can eat anything they find around. Now, eagle has very admirable features that even human beings are using in leadership. And so anyone who wants to soar high in life has to adopt certain attitude, has to adopt certain features of eagle. For example, someone who wants to achieve something in life cannot just operate like dustbin, where you can allow anything inside your system. You can't just watch anything on TV. You can't just read anything. You can't just associate with anyone. You have to be specific on anything you allow in your system. And that is an inspiration we derive from the eagle. So nature is an uncommon teacher. You can't exhaust it. Take an example of a river. From there we can learn persistence and humility. Take a river is all the way from Egypt, piercing Africa. Do you think it does not experience hills and obstacles? Yet it does. But why? It has a way of navigating through to find its way. Sometimes we can learn in life that we don't need to confront anything. Some things we need just to find our way and ignore and push on with our journey in life. Okay. Yes. And
you have talked about nature as it gives us the way to inspiration. So can you just give us some few examples of biomimicry, especially in the industries of today? The industries that remove the idea of what is found in nature and they convert it into action.
I mentioned, if you check very well, for example, I saw something that was quite amazing. Anthill, just anthill, the shape of the anthill, the way it is. Someone saw a anthill and derived an inspiration from that to construct a skyscraper, a very fantastic building. If you see the picture of the building and the anthill, they are the same. Take an example of the aircraft. The aircraft is actually a bird. They took inspiration from a bird. The streamlined shape to enable it pierce through the air, and even the wings and everything. Take examples of boats. Boats were made from the inspiration of fish, how the fish is looking like. Some of them, the way the fish is looking like, the streamlined, all kinds of things were made as a result of such, and so on and so forth. Inspiration driven from such.
Okay.
Yes.
And when it comes to today, as a result of the growing population, people are very aggressive to the natural resources that are found in nature. And some of these aggressive activities, they are very negative towards the environment. So can you talk about that, the aggressive activities that human beings cause towards nature?
Grace, it is quite pathetic. It's so serious to see people destroying nature left, right, center. very aggressively. And you know, I ascribe it to two things. Number one is the immediate gratitude, love for immediate gratitude. You know, people destroy trees to burn charcoal to get money without considering the consequences of cutting down trees. Trees are life, nature and life. When we destroy life to get money, in future, we'll use money to get life. I mean, we use money looking for life, which may not happen. If we can only look at life in a larger perspective, look at the future, then we may not do certain things that we do currently. Because most of the things we do currently to get money currently are actually accumulating troubles for the future. So in most cases, we do things to get what we want now, not considering the consequences that are in the future. In other words, we are postponing problems. But it will catch up with you. You know, the truth is this. You can ignore the truth. I mean, you can assume it, but you cannot ignore it completely. It will catch up with you. So what all we are doing is just postponing problem for the future. Another one is just carelessness, naturally. Carelessness. People can dump anything anywhere. People can do anything, you know, and you wonder what's happening around. Now look at some of the vehicles that we have. The other time I was in Nairobi, I was in the city center, Nairobi. I was walking towards a street. I was walking along the street. Then here comes a matatu, a bus was passing by. Then it came close to me, and it's like I was very close to the exhaust pipe. So this guy accelerated. At first it came like it was stopping. Then it started moving. Immediately it accelerated. The soot from the exhaust pipe came and I was messed up all over. My brown trouser immediately became black and I didn't know what to do completely. Now this is something that can be rectified, but because of carelessness, they go around in town, you know, sprinkling and, you know, they go around in town polluting everywhere with carbon dioxide. And this is something that people can always, you know, prevent. But because of carelessness, because we don't care what comes forth, because the consequences will come in the future, it is not coming right now, we don't care.
Oh, sorry for that. And thank you so much for staying tuned to Champions TV. Remember that this is Nature Talk. You can also join our conversation by sending a direct text message or a comment to the number displayed on the screen. You can also join us via Facebook page at Champions TV Kenya or our Instagram page at Champions TV Kenya. Now you have just, our guest has just explained to us about the life lessons we get from nature, and he has also explained to us how nature is inspirational. So stay tuned for this and much more. We will be right back after the break.